Hello everyone, I'm Deepji, and today I'm going to be discussing a bit about the International Baccalaureate Program or the IB Diploma Program. Most of you watching this video are at a stage where you're deciding whether to take the program or you've just decided to take the program. So at this stage, don't have much of an overview or an idea about the program, and maybe a bit daunted at the rumors that you've heard regarding the IB program, that it can be tough, that it can be content intensive, and so on. So I've made a small video showing you or giving you a small course overview of the IB Diploma program, and also to give you some pointers so that you can get a step ahead in terms of your preparation at the beginning stages or at the early stages of your IB program. So let's begin first with a small course overview. So the IB program or the curriculum is designed based on the IB learner's profile. The IB learner's profile aims to instill 10 different traits in their learners through the way they teach the subjects they teach. Now, the subjects fall into 6 categories. What are the categories? The first one is studies in language and literature. That is basically studying in depth about your native language. It will generally be English. The second category is acquiring a new language or learning a whole new set of skills. That is referred to as language B. This can include Spanish, French, German, whatever your choice may be. The third category involves individuals and societies. So these would include subjects like history, economics, and so on. The fourth category is your experimental sciences, your physics, your chemistry, your biology, and so on. Then you have mathematics, the fifth category, which is a common category for every IB student as it aims to enhance your logical thinking and critical analysis skills. And lastly, you have your last category, which is your elective subject. It is a subject or a category wherein you can choose a subject from any of the categories mentioned above. From all the subjects offered to you in this entire course, apart from the 5 you've already selected, the sixth one can include any one of them. Generally, this category includes a subject which is of great interest to you personally and is not focused towards any or is not dependent on any other factors generally. Okay. The next thing you need to know is you will, out of these 6 subjects, 3 of them you will have to take at an HL level and 3 of them at an SL level. What is HL? Higher level, and what is SL? Standard level. Now, what is the difference between the way the subjects are taught to you at an SL level and an HL level? So in an SL level or standard level, your classes are more like your AP classes. They are more information intensive. They focus on the breadth of the subject. They want you to learn about as many varieties of topics possible in that subject. The HL course is a bit different. It's more like your college classes. So the classes or the subjects that you'll be taking in HL course or in will focus on a more in-depth analysis. It will focus more on analytical and critical thinking regarding certain topics or specific topics based on that particular subject. So it is not focusing or not concentrating on expanding your knowledge to as many categories, but rather extending your knowledge on particular categories. Now here at TestprepKart, we offer courses to help you out with your studies in language and literature, with individuals and societies, with experimental sciences, with mathematics, and also your elective subjects. All these courses are designed specifically to help you overcome all the obstacles that you may face during the length of the course, and to make sure that you have all the 10 learners traits that the learner's guide tells us to provide and instill in the students. These come out in the way you answer your questions and in the way you approach your extended essay and internal assessments in all these subjects. Now let's move on to the next topic. Now that you know you have to select 6 subjects, you have to go about selecting them. You know the categories. Now, how do you select the subject in each category? Or what are the points you should think about while you are selecting your subjects? So the first thing you need to know is you have a few strengths. That is the subjects which you get your highest marks so far in school. Make sure some of the subjects you've selected are subjects which are academically your strengths, which you're good at academically. Your interest may not be that high. It may be something you're good at through practice, but it is something you're good at and should be part of your subject set. The next thing you need to keep in mind is your goals in terms of what you want to study in your university. So check up the requirements for the courses that you plan to pursue in university and see which subjects are relevant to those courses. And go about selecting your subjects for the diploma course here based on that. Lastly, you always have to remember that the IB course has one external exam at the end of a 2-year course for each subject. So unless you're interested in the subject you have studied or which you are studying and pursuing, you will not be able to give the external exams, right? So your interest in the subject is of critical importance. What you study on day 1 will be tested on day 500 or day 600 of your course. So if you do not have an interest, you will probably forget about that topic, or you will never revise that topic once it's taught to you at the beginning, or once you've given a small project or an exam on that topic at the beginning of your course. So the course load at the end of the second year becomes too much. You will have to learn content which you're not interested in, and that too content of extending over a period of 2 years. So at that point, it becomes difficult. So selection of the subject is based on all these 3 criteria. Next, once you've selected your subject, you should start getting to know your subjects well, all the way from the beginning. You have to prepare for the IB course as if you have an exam next week. From the day you begin your selection, from the day you've decided to take the IB course, you should be preparing for it in the manner in which you would prepare 1 week before your examinations. What do I mean by that? So first, before your course even begins, you have to do an extensive and in-depth survey of the syllabus of the subjects you select. Once you do an extensive and in-depth survey of it, you'll come to realize the various topics and the various categories that this subject tests. You have to start looking up on articles or videos related to this and start getting aware on the various topics in the various subjects. All the topics and all the syllabuses that are covered under the IB course, the information regarding them is available on the TestprepKart website. You can quickly go have a look at the syllabuses of the subjects you've selected, and then you can go online and look up videos explaining concepts or topics mentioned in your syllabus and trying to get a bit of basic understanding of them before your course even begins. Now, the next thing I want to discuss is the subjects that you can strengthen even before your course without the help of a tutor. So a couple of the categories are completely independent of the tutor, or you can improve on it without the help of your class teacher, even before your course begins. What are those? Your English language and literature and your language. Now, it is very critically important that you improve or strengthen your English language and literature. The reason being, every single subject is taught to you through that medium, through the medium of English. You will have to submit assignments and internal assessments and essays, and various other activities have to be done. And all of them you will present it through the language of English, regardless of which subject it is. So it is very important that your skills in English are very polished even before you begin your course. How do you go about it, or how do you get that done? You read a lot of books. You read books, speak in the language as much as you can. Watch movies wherein the English is used correctly, and basically expose yourself to the language as much as you can. The more exposure you have to the language, the better will your presentation be in all your subjects on that language. So suppose you watch a movie based on something in your science category, that will help you develop words and the methods of speaking and presenting those words in your science topics, which will help you out in your science assignments and so on. Now, language B can be tricky. Learning a new language is never easy. Oftentimes, unlike other subjects, you can't cram in and learn a language in a short period of time. You need to dedicate a little time every single day, all throughout the 2 years, to get good at a new language in language B. So you can get a head start on it by watching some videos regarding basic steps to get good at the language. And you can start practicing that language even before your course begins. There's no obstacles to that, right? Okay, so read movies, in this new read books in this new language, or try reading them, or try reading translated works from that language. Look at the original text and the translated text, compare. You can do that. You can watch movies that are in this foreign language that you've selected, and that have subtitles, so you can see what they're saying, how they're saying it, and what they mean by it. One important or one useful trick you can follow in terms of language speed is learning a new word every day. If you start from the first day of your course, by the time your course ends, you'll have learned 600 to 700 new words if you just learn one word every day. So that is a very good way to go about getting good at your language. Now that we've discussed about all your academic or subjects which you have to give external exams on in the courses, let's discuss a bit about the other part of your course. So your IB course has a second half to it, and this half is aimed at developing you as an overall individual, and to develop how you can utilize the theoretical knowledge you learned in these subjects practically. These include your CAS, TOK, and EE. So what is CAS? CAS stands for Creativity, Activity, and Service. So this is a segment for whom you don't have to worry much, because most of the categories that come under this segment are already categories that you are already doing. So they include activities and hobbies such as sports, learning a new instrument, blogging in a freelance way, volunteer work, and so on. You can find further information regarding what are the activities exactly involved and what are the marking criteria for the CAS segment of your course on the TestprepKart website. Now the next part is TOK, or Theory of Knowledge. Now this is a unique part of your course. This is the only part of your course that doesn't have a final exam. Rather, it has a presentation that you have to do at the end of 2 years. What does TOK focus on? TOK, or Theory of Knowledge, focuses on the ways of knowledge. That is, how can you take information and process it into knowledge? And the next thing that the TOK focuses on is areas of knowledge. So after you take the information and process it, how do you categorize that knowledge? So the TOK class is a more theoretical and conceptual class, and is focused on, again, your overall development and assessment of knowledge, and not just giving you knowledge. The last part, EE, is the extended essay. Now the extended essay is something you'll have to write at the end of the second year and submit. It is a 4,000 word research paper, so as to speak, and it can be written on any one of the topics that you have covered in the 6 subjects you've selected. The whole point of this particular essay is to see if you have a new perspective on a particular topic that you have a great interest in and you've researched in depth. So further details about all 3, the CAS, the TOK, and the extended essay, can be found on the TestprepKart website. How to go about your essay, how should you present your essay, what should be the structure of your essay, the nature of the content presented, what are the keywords that will get you more marks in your essay. All of this are given in our websites. So the first thing you need to know is that the IB is a very time-intensive course, meaning you will have to dedicate a lot of time, because there are a lot of activities. As I've told you, there's a CAS, there's a TOK, extended essay. There'll be internal assessments on each subject. There'll be group activities and individual activities on each subject, and and you will have a lot of submissions to do in terms of reviews. So it is a very time-intensive course and requires you to dedicate a lot of time. So habits of study is a very important thing in terms of the IB course. You have to have a proper habit. So now that you know that you have to develop a good habit, the first thing you need to do is what? Get organized. Understand working hard is very important. It's essential. But you have to work smart as well. You have to be very structured in the way you spend your time or utilize your time. So I would suggest you make a routine each week. Decide on a day. Let it be Sunday. That you will decide the whole week, the following week, every single day, how will I spend my time? Make a timetable. When do you go to school? When you come back, how many hours do you have free? What activities do you have in those hours? How many hours can you spend revising? Do you have any internal assessments coming up? Schedule slots in your day to prepare for these internal assessments, to revise what you've done previously, and so on and so forth. So you have to make a routine and you have to strictly adhere to that routine. If you decide the topic early and start making early drafts of that topic from the first year itself, it'll help you greatly. You can always keep on editing your essays as you go around or go about gaining more and more knowledge on that topic throughout your course. And you can edit it, you can add information, but having an initial draft prepared and ready gives you an added advantage in terms of creating a solid base on which you can edit and modify and add information and add quality and make your essay the best possible essay you can do. So be very proactive and get things done or try to get things done before they are asked of you. And in this manner, you get more time to improve on the quality of your work. Please do that. Get organized. Now, the last two things I want to tell you are very simple things. That is, you should not be afraid to take help from others. Don't think that the IB is expecting you at the end of 2 years to come up with a whole new perspective on the topic or to get something new. Then they would have to award you a PhD, not a diploma. So taking advice from others, looking at how others have done their work, asking your teachers, asking your friends, looking up on topics on the internet, looking up on works done by other IB students, looking up at videos done by IB students, is all okay, it's all fine, and it's all very good in terms of helping you out with your preparation. Don't hesitate to take help from external sources throughout your IB program. You are being taught how to think, how to approach thinking, and how to analyze the observed knowledge. You are not being taught to be unique. Please remember that. And lastly, avoid rumors. Avoid all types of rumors regarding the preparation or what you may hear from various websites that are not officially associated with that. You'll hear lots of things like the exams being tough, the assessments being bad, or you may hear the assessments being tough, not bad, the assessments being strict, the essays being very hard to write, and so on and so forth. Don't pay attention to any of these things. Understand that if you are organized, planned, and you do the work and put in effort from day one, getting sevens, which is the highest score in all your subjects, is not an impossibility. You can get a 7 in every single subject that you do if you keep regularity and practice as the mantras that you need to follow.